Going live in Huntsville. This is Jim Casey, the Talk TV reporter, on the scene. A rally for Ukraine. Okay. It's a windy day, so the microphone might be a little bit noisy. There's not much I can do. But I have made some improvements. We're just going to see what's going on. Yellow colors out here. Respectable crowd. This was set to start at 1. Sounds like a Ukrainian anthem to kick off the rally today. There's some of the state media over there. Just going to listen here for a few minutes.
So he's going to bring us to prayer. He's going to speak Ukrainian, so I'd like to apologize to people that don't understand it.
Боже, через ім'я Сина Твого Ісуса Христа, ми голос свій піднімаємо сьогодні до Тебе. Ми звертаємось Ти, Батько неба і землі. Ти творець кожної людини на землі. О, Господи, наша країна, в якій ми родилися, істікає кров'ю. Вмирають кращі сини і дочки народу Твого. Ми звертаємось до Тебе і молимо Тебе тут, із цієї землі американської, де панує спокій і мир. Боже, ми просимо Тебе, захисти той народ, зупини ту людоненавистську диктатуру того Путіна. Боже, ми просимо тебе, дай мир тій країні, дай, щоб ще многі люди познали тобі славу, щоб була демократія і мир, спокій, процвітав народ твій, Господи, добробут і так далі. Я прошу тебе, почуйте нашу молитву, Боже. І сьогодні це зібрання наше, цього народу, також наших друзів, американців, які вирішили прийти і підтримати нас. Ми просимо тебе, всіх нас благослови. Да буде возвеличене і прославлене ім'я. Тобі за все слава. Отцю і Сину, і Святому Духу. Амінь.
Зараз буде говорити Назар, пивовар. Він з України вчиться тут в коледжі. This is Nazar. He is studying at UAH. He is from Ukraine.
Can you all hear me? Just loud enough? Everyone can hear me? Thank you everyone for coming here today. We've all come here today to say that Ukraine needs more help. The Ukraine does not get enough. In the past 11 days, Ukrainians have been saying this so much, it almost seems we're ungrateful. I just want all of you to know that we are grateful. We are grateful for hundreds of thousands of refugees allowed to cross the border with Poland, Romania, and Moldova. We are grateful for free housing and food delivered in the countries of Germany, Spain, Czech Republic, many other European countries and beyond. We are grateful for millions of dollars in donations that allow food, supplies, and medicine for Ukrainians in Ukraine. Needless to say, we are grateful for military aid and sanctions against an army almost 5 times its size. Not a single major city was given in the first 8 days of war. 2,000 invaders were killed in the first 2 days of war, 6,000 in the first 6 days, 9,000 in the first 9 days, and the count is still going. Regular civilians, unarmed, were lining in front of tanks and in front of columns of armored vehicles everywhere the Russians went. Just 2 days ago, in the city of Kherson, the first city to fall to the Russian forces, when Russians were trying to stage a demonstration for their own media, Ukrainian people, thousands of Ukrainians, gathered at the main square and had their own demonstration, despite the fact that tanks rolled through the city hours before. Shots were fired at the Ukrainian crowd, but not a single protester left. The courage of Ukrainian people has no bounds, but it's not enough. We cannot win this war alone. We're being told today that we're not alone. We're being told today that almost every country in the world stands with us. 3 days ago at the United Nations General Assembly, 141 countries voted with Ukraine for the withdrawal of Russian forces. Only 4 countries voted against us. North Korea, Belarus, Syria, and Eritrea. Those are the only countries that are not our allies. Yet, our numerous allies are too afraid to take decisive actions that can end the conflict in Ukraine. 2 days ago, they had a chance to introduce a no-fly zone over Ukraine at the NATO summit, but they voted it down. All of our allies in my home city of Kharkiv, one missile fired at the central square killed 10 people. Tens more were wounded, and hundreds of rockets like this have been fired at Ukrainians, often targeting civilian districts, schools, and kindergartens. Just 5 days ago, President Zelensky awarded 12 Ukrainian soldiers the highest award of Hero of Ukraine. 7 of them were pilots. 5 of them were killed in action, sacrificing themselves in acts of courage, heroic, even by Ukrainian standards. Yet their acts of courage did not inspire courage in our allies. We've come here today grateful for unprecedented recognition of Ukraine, and grateful for the incredible support we've been getting, but we've come here today to say that this is not enough. We need our allies, our friends, to take decisive actions to end this conflict soon. We hope and pray that these actions come soon. But be sure that Ukrainian people, meanwhile, will keep performing miracles of courage. Slava Ukraini!
Thank you. Now we have a sister of Irina. Her name is Nadia. Nadia came from Austin, Texas, but she is originally from Ukraine, from western part of Ukraine, from Lviv region.
Glory to Ukraine! Glory to heroes! Slava Ukraini! Thank you all for coming. I know here there are not so many Ukrainians here, but I thank you all for coming and also for coming American friends for supporting Ukraine. Thank you. We appreciate it. Some Ukrainian Americans here can think that they can do nothing to help Ukraine because they are so far away from Ukraine right now. What they can do, like people like me, like you, but in fact they can do a lot. Right now, we all here can do a lot. We, by coming to this rally, we support Ukrainians. We support the raise awareness. We keep calling our local representatives. We also keep writing letters to senators. We call on world leaders to support Ukraine. Of course, the whole world supports Ukraine. But as Nazar mentioned, it's not enough. The big tragedy. Can you ever believe what happened in the 21st century when women, kids, civilians are killed by defending their land? It's horrible. But we keep coming to these rallies shelter Ukrainian sky, and the rest Ukrainian soldiers will do on their own. We already have that experience from World War II, when European leaders thought that Hitler will have Poland and it will be enough for him. But as it turned out, Poland was only the first country. Right now, it's happening one more time. When Russia has Ukraine, they won't stop. Poland, Estonia, Moldova, Lithuania, Sweden, they are all under threat. And guess he will not stop. Guess who will be next after Eastern Europe? So right now, it's very crucial to support Ukraine by all world leaders. Right now, Ukraine is fighting for freedom not only for their land, but also Ukraine is fighting for the whole democratic world. You know, people all over the world are witnessing how Ukrainians are brave. And now they used to say that Ukraine is the capital of great people. And now Hollywood doesn't need to make up stories about big heroes, about big tragedies. Right now, it's all happening right now in Ukraine. And as we know, from ancient history of Greece, 300 Spartans were fighting with Persian army. Right now, Ukraine all alone, a country nobody knew about before, now is resisting the biggest military force in the whole world. So you can imagine how brave they are. That's why here all Ukrainians all over the world do what they can to support Ukrainians there. They can resist as hard as they can. So Putin didn't expect such big resistance. That's why we call on world leaders to support Ukraine more, to give more weapons, to impose embargo on Russian oil, to protect Ukrainian skies. Right now, I run Ukrainian online school. Teachers from Ukraine work in this school. They teach Ukrainian American kids and Ukrainian all over the world. They teach Ukrainian language. Right now, they have to cancel all their classes because right now they are hiding in shelters. Women, kids are hiding in basements. Women deliver kids in underground. Could you ever believe it can happen in the center of Europe in the 21st century? It's unprecedented. So I call on the whole world to hear Ukraine, to hear their plea, to support them. If Ukraine wins, the whole world wins. Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні!
There you have it. Ukrainian speakers are calling on more aid. And although they are grateful, they would like to see more supplies and more weaponry. One lady there talking about she's set up an online school for the Ukrainian kids. I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to walk over here and see what else is going on in the park today. Got a lot of big bubbles over here. And there's some kind of new display. It's a breezy day in Huntsville. It's quite warm. We've walked through this area before. Something that looks like the whales of a rib has surfaced. The ribs of a whale has surfaced. I'm going to go see what that is. You know, one thing that I'm going to talk about too right now is that it may seem like this is a totally free country, but in reality, the Alabama legislature just passed new laws restricting the right to assemble. They say it's because they need it to, police need it to make sure riots don't get out of control, but the fact of the matter is, the new law is so restrictive, it's a constitutional abridgement, and it's almost like, I don't know, I can imagine being at a football game, somebody saying, you know, there's a fight down on the field, and if you don't leave, the police can have you arrested even if you're up in the stands. It's really far too broad, and it's a really big mistake because in light of the BLM and other things that have gone on in the last 2 years, the state legislature and city officials should not be emboldening people who are already law enforcement that is already militarized. And that's not something that just comes from me. You hear a lot of people that have said, look, law enforcement has been militarized. They have a militarized and combative attitude. And that's part of the problem. I have no idea what this is, but it looks like a permanent feature. So I'm going to walk around and see it from the other side and see if that sign says anything. Big Spring Park and times are changing. Last time I took some pictures here, the area was less than complete, and it appears that AC in this building next to it is complete now. Don't know how the exposure's doing. I've got the sun a little bit too much in front of me. Dunlop's doing that. I used to say Dunlop's disease was when you got too fat and your belly Dunlopped over your belt. I've been pretty close to that, but I try to avoid it. Don't know what this is. These signs aren't telling the truth, so I'm going to have to, they're not telling much about it. I don't have any idea what this represents. Looks like there's room for a lot of additional hardware on the posts, the ribs there. And this looks like, I don't know, some kind of a carniac maybe? And, all right, maybe just a guy who knows how to make large bubbles. I always wanted to be able to do this. I never had the right equipment. There we go. Hey, isn't that wonderful? You never know what you find in Big Spring Park on a nice Saturday. Wind's not blowing too hard right now. So this guy's just having fun, that's all. Providing fun for the kids. All right, there, you see the Ukraine rally is still going on around the gazebo. Oops. Keep my camera pointed right. And I'm going to end the broadcast just as soon. First, I'm going to make a turn around here. Let's see here. I've got a new app that I may be able to do this automatically, but I'm not there yet. There it is. Jim Casey for Talk TV in downtown Huntsville, reporting at the Rally for Ukraine at the gazebo. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. Visit my websites on www.talktv. Make a contribution to help me keep doing this kind of work.